Alright, so today we're here with Sadie, and she has some fear, aggression towards new strangers and people. So go ahead and give her some treats for just looking at us. Okay. And what we're going to use today is some counter-conditioning methods to help her make a positive association between people coming towards her and getting a yummy treat reward. And we'll be doing that by giving her treats while we're at a far distance away. When we're using counter-conditioning, we want to think about a bunch of things. One of them will be distance. So we want to start off at a far distance from her because that'll help her gain self-control and confidence and slowly start to get closer to her over time. The next thing is speed. We don't want to all of a sudden walk really fast towards her. So when we get closer, we're going to move in really slow, calm behaviors. If I start moving really fast, it looks more unpredictable and a little more intimidating. So we want to build up to a faster pace over time. And then last, we want to try to keep calm energy, be nice and quiet and very calm, because as I get louder, I will also could potentially elicit more of a reaction from her, and we don't want her to have high reactivity to us. So what I'm going to do is have her guardian over here is giving her treats. If you just kind of want to pan over to, can you see me with seeing Sadie kind of in the background? Okay, perfect. So she is giving her treats for being closer to me, and she's distracting her. So dogs can only focus on one thing at a time, and we're having her focus on doing something she knows how to do, which is sitting and getting treats. So we're making a positive association with us being here and getting a yummy treat reward. All right, so the next thing what I'm going to do is I want to make myself smaller and less intimidating or less confrontational. So what I'm going to do is get closer. I'm going to go down to the ground and sit like this. Okay. And I'm going to keep my body sideways and try to not make a lot of eye contact at the beginning, because those are triggers. Facing her head on and making a lot of eye contact are ways that could make her a little more reactive. Sadie. All right, so what I would ask for you to do as a cameraman is to kind of swing over so you're about by the way over here. And if you can, kind of crouch down, because right now she's probably responding to you standing up. There we go, perfect. And then if you can just make sure you can kind of see me and then you can see Sadie. Perfect, Sadie. All right, so go ahead and right now block her with your body so she can't see it and ask her to sit. Sadie, sit. There you go. Sit. Sadie, sit. Sit. There you go. Give her a treat. There you go. Good. When you're doing this exercise, some things you want to look for the dog. If their tail is up really high, if it's moving fast, and their body's kind of rigid, they're very excited mode. And excited can either mean really happy, or it could also mean really fearful and aggressive. So it doesn't necessarily, tail wagging does not mean that she's happy to see us. So we want to look at her tail. When it starts getting lower, about level with her back, or lower than her back, she's going to be, that's a signal to us that she's getting in a calmer state, and we can start getting closer to her. All right, so she's starting to calm down. All right, try seeing if she can go into a sit. Sadie, down. Sadie, okay. Down. Just give her a treat if she'll take it. Okay. Try moving her back a little bit. Sadie. There you go. Perfect. Give her a treat right now. Good girl. You don't have to ask her to sit right now. It's too much. So over time, so I'll have you stay here as the cameraman because she is being reactive to now there's two people. I practiced this once beforehand where it's just the two of us. And now we're making this more challenging by having two new people here. I'm going to take this treat and I'm going to toss it towards her. So we're making a positive association with me getting closer to her. While I'm still sideways, I'm keeping my body sideways, and notice that I'm trying to keep my body nice and small so I'm not threatening or intimidating to her. Go ahead and let her get that. Perfect. Okay. And I'm going to try not to make too much eye contact because I just did a little bit to see if she got the treat, and it made her a little more anxious. Go ahead and back her up a little bit. There you go. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to toss the treat over that way. Okay, so we want to make sure that she's a distance away. We're going to try to have not tension on the leash as much as possible. See, sit. Sit. She seems to do well with getting direction from me at a safe distance because it gives her a little more sense of control. She knows what to do. Sadie, notice what in the camera, how she's sitting sideways, kind of, she was leaning on her side. Sit. There we go. Okay. So notice that her tail is lower, and she's showing a much more relaxed kind of demeanor. Using redirecting her by asking her to sit kind of calms her down a little bit. So I'm just going to ask her to sit again. Notice that she's sitting sideways. She's not sitting straight on with all of her feet square on the ground. This shows that she's getting more and more comfortable with me approaching. Another thing that you want to practice is moving away from her and then getting closer again. Not going closer than you were before, but starting to move around a little bit and just nice and slow. Gonna just move a little bit closer. Another thing to keep in mind is trying to keep away from confined spaces. We don't want to increase her reactivity by feeling like she's in a confined space. Sit. Excellent. Do you see how much calmer she is as I get closer? Sadie. And at this point, one of the things she seems to be more reactive to is having people try to attempt to pet her. So I'm not going to try to pet her. I want to build up the trust with her and respect her personal space by giving her treats so she's comfortable with me being in close proximity to her. But I want her to direct when we get to start petting her. I want her to build up enough trust where she starts to look for that type of affection and look for that type of attention from new people. At this point, all we really want to do is get her to stop being so reactive and barking and anxious. So we will let her build up the trust in order to get to the point where she decides when we're going to pet her. All right, so now remember, if I stand up, that is a little bit more confrontational or a little more intimidating for her. So what I'm going to do when I first stand up is I'm just going to stand up farther away. And now I'm going to toss the treats, but I'm going to stay sideways, and still I'm not going to be making a lot of eye contact with her. See how she's starting to get a little more reactive? So I'm going to take a step away. Toss the treat. Take a little step closer. Toss the treat. Take another step closer. Sit. Ask her to do something because it helps her. Not all dogs respond well to being redirected like this, but she was responding very well to being redirected. It gives her a little more sense of control in what we're looking for from her. All right, so this is about as close as I want to get right now, and now we're going to work on helping the guardian's brother do the exact same exercise.